going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Pazza Podcast. Back after a dramatic late game winner by Inter against Hellas Verona today on the road there in Verona. It was a 2-1 match that is two matches in a row. An unconvincing Inter gets all 3 points against Fiorentina midweek. The team did not look great. Barella, especially, was absolutely terrible. And a couple other players that we rely upon, Lautaro, I think Bastoni, and those core players that we usually rely on did not perform well against Fiorentina. Get into this match, and it was the same. A couple of our big players, the ones we rely upon, namely Lautaro and Bastoni, today were nowhere near the level that we need them to be at to continue this Scudetto push this season. Um, but again, it's two matches where this happens, and we still get 3 points. That is the important thing, and that is all Kivu will care about. 6 points in the last two matches, whereas Napoli dropped points to Como. It is a title race now that is wide open after winning there in Verona. So 3 points, like I said, that's all that matters. It was a semi-rotated squad today against Verona. Jan Sommer stays in goal. We see that center back of Bisek again come into this match, like we saw against Fiorentina midweek. Akanji and Bastoni as the back line. Across the midfield, Luis Enrique got his, or not his first start, but a start against Verona. We moved Sucic in the midfield in place of Barella, and Zielinski came in and started this match as well. And then Hakan playing that anchor role as the regista, like we see all the time. Left back, left wing back, Carlos Augusto, and then Lautaro was paired with Pio this match instead of Boni. So, sorry, it was Boni instead of Pio to start this match. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, the first 20, 25, 30 minutes, Inter looked really sharp. The passing was zipping across the field, really quick, interchanging plays. Zielinski went close within the first minute or two and forced a great save from Montipo in Verona's goal. And Sucic from the midfield was playing passes, a couple one to Lautaro that if Barella's in, and what we've become accustomed to on that right side of midfield is a cross kind of at this point. And Sucic played a couple times some balls that were different, not just lobbing it and crossing it into the box, but exciting new ideas coming from his position there, mainly on the right of that center midfield three. And Lautaro had a good chance off of one of those. And I want to say there was another chance for Lautaro that maybe they just stepped in front of right before he could rip it. Um, but after, well, I guess before we give to the but, we should mention the goal from Inter in the first goal of the game, and what a goal it was. Hakan off of a corner. We had done a couple different corner routines, it seemed like, at the beginning of this match, and one of them paid off tremendously. Corner that we've seen Barella sometimes get targeted for from Hakan, but I think whenever he played the ball to the top, kind of like a little driven dink over the top to drive it to the top of the box for a midfielder to come through and volley. And usually it's Barella, but when he hit the ball, you couldn't even tell who was in the frame. And then Zielinski comes out of nowhere and with a beautiful side foot on the, or not even on the bounce, connects with it through the air. And it was a brilliant, well taken goal to go up 1-0. And after that, and it's like we see this all the time after we score a goal sometimes in matches. Don't want to say we see this all the time, but sometimes it happens where this Inter side kind of goes in autopilot. They can either kill a team and win 5-0, like we saw last year against Verona, or they can go into autopilot and think that they have the game already won after they score a goal. Um, and everything that we saw at the before that goal, kind of maybe 10 minutes after the goal, we still We're connecting on passes and whatnot, but it seems like after you go up 1-0, you go kind of switch off a little bit, and that's what happened with Inter. The passes were not as zipped. The defending, which ultimately led to Verona's goal, the equalizer, was suspect again, namely on that left side. Augusto and Bastoni both didn't have good matches, and Akanji, Bisek, they were kind of towards the end of the first half getting taken to the cleaners almost. Verona scored off of one that I think if you're Bastoni, you got to be closer to the man there. Gave him too much room to release a shot. And it was a shot that was well taken, well hit. Sommer gets his hands on it, so maybe you'd like to see him do a little better there. But with it being wet and how hard that shot was taken, it's tough to blame Sommer. I think the blame goes to Bastoni here. And then again, going down that left side, they sent a dangerous cross in, and their striker there connected one time. I think he stepped in front of Akanji and hit the bar towards the end of the first half as well. So worrying signs if you were an Inter fan. But the worrying sign for me came mainly in the second half from Kivu. Again, we mentioned last week against Napoli how he just stayed as a 3-5-2 and no real system change to try and unlock something different in that match. And this match was very similar. It was all like for like substitutions. I think Fratesi should have come on a lot earlier to try and maybe vertically do something because Lautaro and Boni did not stretch the back line of Verona at all. And then Pio came in and was struggling a little bit as well. And I think Fratesi could have helped a lot earlier. But Inter gets a lucky goal. It wasn't a beautiful second half at all. And we pull a lucky, it's actually an own goal off of Verona to take a 2-1 win away back home to Milano. And like I said at the beginning, it's 3 points. So you can't really complain, but the performances need to start getting a little better. We got a midweek match now against I think it's the Kazakh side. Um, Hopefully we get 3 points there and get 12 points out of the first four Champions League group matches. And if we're in that position and only 1 point off the Scudetto race, depending on what Roma and Milan do, then we're sitting fine. And hopefully that mid-year form can either happen or it can be the Inter January curse, like we've seen so many times. It's never a dull moment with this club. So yeah, I there's not much analysis today. It was too early in the morning for me to be trying to analyze too much. This is just kind of a reaction of the big win today away at Verona. So that's going to do it. Just another quick one this week, and like I said, midweek against the Kazakh side, and then I think our next match might be not exactly sure. Milan is in a couple weeks. Um, I think it's another gimme team. Should have done a little better. Maybe Genoa. So yeah, hopefully we get max points here and whatnot, and start to put the pressure on Napoli, Milan, all the other teams. Please remember, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And as always, Forza Inter.